Hi, I'm Robert Dutton, and today we are going to be working on this lovely black paper. These XL blocks are absolutely exceptional tools for artists to use. The sketch itself that you can actually see here was done outside with these in the Pennines. They come in this really handy tin, and the range of colours that you see, these 6 colours, are exceptional in quality and surface coverage, and they last a long time. They feel really good in the hand, and they will create the most magnificent types of expressive marks. And I'm going to show you some of those techniques right now. What we're actually going to do, first of all, is show you how very, very quickly you can sort of build up lots of different kind of mark making techniques. And the confidence you get immediately when the painting, the paper is touched with this surface is really great. I mean, look at that one alone. Great start with black as well. Most people sort of think about white and then blend with the white. But in this case, the white itself begins to be shown as a marvellous tool for building up a tremendous amount of the painting itself to begin with. We're using the texture of the paper here as well to sort of build into it, and leaving gaps. So very, very quickly, you can see that the mark making techniques you are building up. And again, you can see you can actually work on the side with them like this in lots of different ways. But the mark making techniques that you work with them are a celebration of the landscape. Now, there were some beautiful stone walls in this area. I didn't quite have time to finish those because of the inclement weather, but because you were there, you remember it. So we're working with the white to help establish that. If we put this down for a second, we can show you how XL works with a little bit of the sort of softer mark making techniques to give the what we call in the Pennines mizzle, which is that which is halfway between mist and rain. And you can actually see a little bit of smooth technique, and you can actually be quite vigorous with it there and dig in a bit more and cut across. That's how soft they actually are. We're going to now pick up the black. You can actually see now, if we start to work the black on the black, give it a bit of welly, if you like, hence the board slightly shaking there. But as you cut that back in again, you can incise, get beautiful kind of mark making. We can also use the charcoal on its side, making wonderful mark making techniques in there. And as we work the charcoal across the top, let your freedom of spirit, of adventure develop. And don't forget, we're building up something which is going to be very much a layering process. So that's good. This gives me the feeling almost of the big black rain coming across there. You can also use the black to knock out some of your whites, or you can then come back to using the black again, or the white, sorry, and you can come back and re-establish over the top. Now, this is how those halftones were created. See that very, very gentle approach. Very, very usefully, we have the soft erasers and the art erasers, and in fact, the standard Derwent eraser, you can actually start to use this to start to draw with as well. Now just watch how we can then use the eraser, not just to remove marks, but you use it as a blending tool. You see, that looks like you've used a scriber or something like that across the top of that surface to build that up. Now let's choose another one. Let's choose the soft eraser. You can see the softer one will remove it right back to the black surface. So the negative drawing that you can create with that, and you can use it again on its side, will create lots of interesting marks. Okay, we have the lovely yellow ochre. We've got this fantastic and beautiful warm brown in the middle, and right at the back end here we have the beautiful burgundy. We begin with burgundy. We've already got the black and the white on the sheet, and as we work it, you can actually see the land masses sort of developing over here. We rub it into the sky as well. Look at the way in which you can actually cut back into there with that. That's some beautiful layering techniques. You can see the initial mark inside there. We're going to use some of the ochre now. Now these, we're going to use them on the flats. We're also going to use them on the tips, the corners to get really nice sharp details. And as we rub it on the hand, you can actually see very, very little is actually being cascaded everywhere. Keep the side stroke and keep bouncing it and moving it on the surface. You can see literally I'm rocking that. And that rocking motion is applied throughout the painting as we develop it to get lots of interesting marks. We now move into the bottom corner to establish some of the balance in the composition. This goes into virgin paper, moving it into that sort of area where we've already had XL burgundy applied on the surface. And again, if you use the edges, just see how responsive to your subject and description of shape and form it can be. The sandstone grit in the pennines now, we can actually use big, flat side strokes with. It's like painting. A little bit of crumble there, but that's not, that's because of the pressure I'm actually applying. If we want highlights, see how dexterous you can be with them. Quite amazing tools. That's absolutely lovely. Moving on to lighter brown. This is how we use them to create lighter qualities. Again, straight away on the black. You always have options with these. Great way of working. And the light, tremendous. We'll spray it. XL Charcoal Blocks are lovely to work with. A great way to clean them up actually after you finish with them. You can actually rub your fingers on them. But once you've got some of that, we might as well use it and show you some of the typical mark making techniques used with charcoal. Rub that together in there. If you take it on your thumb, use that big digit to create big sweeping mark strokes over here. We can use the eraser in 2XL as a drawing aid, not just to think about an eraser as something that is to remove your mistakes. You actually use it, in this case, to create great blending and highlights even into the darks. Again, we can cut back to create light. You see a very graphical, sharp approach you can create with that. This time we're going to use XL block on its side. Now look how soft and what great coverage you get. Different surfaces, imagine rough papers. I love to work on rough papers. This one's a little bit smoother, but you can actually use the block. I'm working vertically, tend to do that a lot because when you work vertically, the dust comes down and not on you. We're using green this time on the white, and we can interblend that with the white of the surface to give some half tones between. We can use a little bit of smearing if we need to. Notice what's happening here. This is not cracking. I'm actually hitting this quite hard. Very robust medium. If you want it to break, you would physically break it. I tend to do that to get any shorter pieces if needed. But here, if you want any details, use the corners. Let's just show you what yellow ochre does and how that will. I always say that yellow is the life giver to any paintings I create. Gives it a glow, a warmth. Down here, big swathes of beautiful juicy colour going in. We'll switch and move on to this side. We'll do exactly the same thing. We'll use the eraser again. Big, sharp edges being established. Right, we're going to use the burgundy colour over here. Great to add a very, very subtle shade of warmth to our penine picture that we're developing. Work the charcoal here right on its flat and cut that right back in, and then less pressure now. And then back off and then leave it. Look at the texture you get. Great. Got another good start for something else. Fantastic. So useful, RXL.